fellow ServiceNow enthusiast. Are you ready to dive into the world of user and group management? Well, you come to the right place. In this video, we are going to uncover what users and groups are in ServiceNow and why they are so important. Plus, I'll show you step by step how to create a new user and group. So, buckle up and get ready to level up your ServiceNow game. Let's go. Right, let's start by answering the burning question. What exactly are users and groups in ServiceNow? Well, simply put, users are individuals who need access to ServiceNow, while groups are a way to organize those users into a specific categories. Seems pretty straightforward, right? But there's a kicker. By utilizing users and groups effectively, you can enhance security, streamline workflows, and boost productivity within your organization. So, let's not underestimate the power of these features. Now, let's get down to business and learn how to create a new user and group. Don't worry, it's easier than you might think. So, before we are starting, I hope you have seen our previous video like how to set up a PDI instance. So please get to watch that video, so it will help you to set up this PDI. Okay, let's come to the point. Okay, how to create a user. So, as I have said, either you can use the people module. Now let's create the user. So for creating the user, log in into ServiceNow PDI, then click all here. So it will help you to access all the modules here. Either you can type users here or you can go with the tables, but my choice, I would recommend you to learn about the tables rather than going with the modules over here. So please go with the tables. So tables will help you in many ways. So the table for user is sys underscore user. So it is sys and then it's underscore and it is user. Okay, and here is a table. So here comes a question, will it open when we just type the table? It's not. So for that case, what we have to do is you have to put dot list. If you're putting list in a small letters, which means not in a caps or block words, then it will open in a same window. But if you're going with a caps letter or in a block letter, it will help you to open in a separate window. Let me show you how. So here I have written sys underscore user and then it's dot. Now I'm going to type the list in block letters. So it is LIST. Okay, now click enter. It will help you to pop up in new window. Here you can see, so these are the users who is currently in my PDI. So let's create a new user here. So when you open this tab, you can be able to find an option here called new. Here it is. So when you click this, it will open the form view. So I'll explain one more thing to you as well. So on the ServiceNow, the views will be differentiated in two ways. One is form view, another one is list view. So here you can see, so this is called the list view, where you can see the n number of records based on the requirements in that particular table. So here you can configure this list view as well. I'll show up in the next video. So let's dig into this users. So this is list view. So in this list view you can see all the users. So now I want to create a new user. So I'm clicking this new. When I click new, so this window will open up. So here you can see one is user ID, first name, last name, title, department, password, email, language. So these are the fields. So what are the mandatory fields when you are creating a user? User ID, first name, last name, and a password. So after the Tokyo update, the password field has been hidden, but I have made that inactive. You'll see that in the upcoming configurations. So let's create a user here. So let me create a user whose name is Zing. So is it like ZING? So what is user ID? What is first name and last name? User ID. So usually most of the organization uses either the user ID as a unique value or the email ID as a unique value. So whenever the new user is coming to the organization with the name of Zing, consider like another user is coming to the organization with the name of Zing or Broik. So in that case, what will happen? for that scenario they will be keeping this user ID as a unique value. So the user ID will not be same for all the users, and it will help them to log in as well in most of the cases. And the first name I'll be giving it as Zinc, and the last name I'll be giving it as Test. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the important thing first we have to do, and the next part is title. So you'll be wondering what is title is. So the title is nothing but it defines the role of that user. Like if I'm going to do a support work, then the title can be like ServiceNow support. If I'm a manager for an organization, then the title can be manager. If it is senior manager, then it's senior manager. So title helps us to understand like what is the role of this user in this particular organization. And password we have to set up, and the department as well, to which department the user is belongs to. So here you can customize if you want. This department will go through this table cmn underscore department, which is a default table. Here you can add more departments based upon your requirements. So add a new department called as ServiceNow Insight, and the description of ServiceNow Insight admin, then you can create it over here. So that is where department will come. And password, we have to set up the password, and what is this password needs reset. So now we are creating a user by a manual process. There is no automation interrupted, so we are doing it by a manual process. In this case, what we'll do, we are going to set up password and we are going to share to the user. But if we share to the user will also know the password and we also know the password. In that case, vulnerability can happen. To prevent that, what you have to do is set up a password and click this password needs to reset. So what will happen is when you are sharing the credentials to the user, when the user is logging in for the first time, he will be using this password. When he logged in, and it will directly take him to the window where he needs to reset the password. This is where it helps. And second one is logged out. If the user is no more in the organization and we don't want this user to access anymore to our service now, in that case we have to use this logged out. Active is the key point for service now. Whatever table you go, wherever record you go, in most of the places you will be finding a thing called active. Active is the sense of it should work. So if you're going for an user group or client script, business rule or anything, you can go. Active plays a key role. If the certain record is active, then only it is going to work. Either it can be a user record or a group record. If the user is only active in also, then he can able to access our instance. If not, he cannot be able to access this. Okay. What is web service access only? In ServiceNow, you can integrate with another applications through an API. In ServiceNow, we used to use REST API and SOAP API. We'll explain that in deep in our upcoming videos. So, in short, what is REST API? What is SOAP API? So, what is API? API will help you to connect two applications. So, in ServiceNow, if this account is being used by the integration, then we have to enable web service access only. How API works with ServiceNow? So consider like now the API is also a part of an user. He want to access ServiceNow. So the same scenario will be followed. We'll be providing them the user ID and the password, and they have to log in with that, and they have to create an etiquette or something, and they can do whatever the integrations they want and whatever thing they want to, they can perform. What this web service access only will help, where it will help. So the thing is, if you're creating a user and if you're not picking this as web service access only, consider like the application team is knowing the credentials for this particular account. So if they log in with this, they can able to access the service now. To prevent that, if you are giving this web service access only, it will limit them not to access our ITL portal or homepage view. It will help. This account will be used only for the integrations. So this is how it plays. And internal integration user. So this both things will help for the integrations. So what is email? So email is the what email the user is using here. And language, here you can choose the language. So as of now it is our PDI, so I have configured only one language, and it is English. And calendar integration, so it is based upon the integration. And time zone, you can choose the time zone whatever you want, and the date format you can decide. And the business phone you have to give, and the mobile phone you have to give. And what is this photo, click to add. So if you're giving a photo here, what it will do is whenever you're logging to the service now, I'll show you the difference. So right now I have logged in as a system administrator. So here you can see up here it shows a picture icon. So this is a profile picture. So when you upload your picture or any user's pictures over here, it will help to show here like who logged in. It will, instead of showing in alphabetical order of the username, it will show us in a picture. So let's set up a password for this. I'm not showing the password. I'll be doing this. Okay, so I have set up a password, and email I'll be giving it as, okay, let's give it as zing at example.com. Zing at, kind of like anything, zing at example. So I'm just creating a test email. I'm not giving any, because this is, since this is a test user, we are not going to give any email. But email will work in PDI as well. We'll discuss that in our next upcoming videos. So let's save this. Okay, so it's asking for .com. So make sure whenever you are creating an email ID, it should end up with .com or anything with an gmail.com. So it is like zing at example.com. Okay, so I'll be renaming this email for the testing purpose, test at gmail.com. Make sure when you're creating a new user profile, the password should contain at least one of the uppercase. That is mandatory. Okay, seems like everything is good. Alright. Okay, let's save this and check. Great. Okay, now the profile has been created. Okay, so when the user got created, so here you can see the things called entitled custom tables, roles, groups, delegates, and subscriptions. This is what the little records we used to get when the user got created. It has been helpful for you. So here you can see it is automatically updated by the system. So the user has updated this password. So now only the user knows what is the password for this particular profile. So let's talk about groups.